Hello, my little readers. Welcome back to the Story Treasure. How you guys have been doing? I hope you all are doing really well, enjoying reading books. Today, we are going to read another very funny and interesting book. The title of the book is Mr. Funny and the Magic Lamp by Roger Hargreaves. So, let's get started. Mr. Funny lives in a teapot house. How ridiculous, I hear you say. But it suited Mr. Funny, right down to its spout. Now, one day last spring, Mr. Funny discovered an old trunk in his attic. This is under the lid. And in the trunk, he found a carpet. The carpet that gave him a surprise. For it was a magic carpet. A magic flying carpet. Mr. Funny was very excited. There and then he decided to go on a trip to see where the magic carpet would take him. So, on that spring morning, he set off on an adventure. Mr. Funny flew over Lazy Land, where he woke up Mr. Lazy with a very loud raspberry and a funny face. Mr. Lazy laughed so much he fell out of bed. Mr. Funny and his magic carpet flew over Fat Land, where Mr. Funny made Mr. Skinny laugh. He laughed so much he tripped over a daisy and dropped the breadcrumb he was carrying for his picnic lunch. And then he flew over Cold Land, where Mr. Funny made Mr. Sneeze laugh. He laughed so much that he stopped sneezing. The magic carpet flew on and on. They flew over mountains and valleys and over the sea. Finally, they arrived in a desert. But there was nobody there, nobody to laugh at Mr. Funny's funny faces. Then, just as he was about to leave, Mr. Funny saw something half buried in the sand. It was a lamb. What a grubby old lamb, he said to himself, and he gave it a rub. Suddenly, with a clap of thunder and in a cloud of smoke, a genie appeared in front of Mr. Funny, which was all very exciting, but Mr. Funny noticed most of all was how miserable the genie looked. Mr. Funny had never seen anyone look so unhappy. "Master," said the genie, glumly, "I am the genie of the lamp, and I appear before you to grant you 3 wishes." To the genie's surprise, Mr. Funny pulled one of his famous funny faces. But the genie did not laugh. He did not chuckle. He did not even smile. Not a flicker. "Oh dear," said Mr. Funny. It was going to take a bit more than a funny face to cheer up this genie. And then he had a thought. "For my first wish, I wish to have a piano-playing elephant." "As you command, master," said the genie. And then before you could say broken piano stool, a piano-playing elephant appeared before them. Mr. Funny roared with laughter. It was hilarious. But it was not funny enough to make the genie laugh. He looked just as glum as before. Mr. Funny had another thought. "For my second wish, I wished for a mouse." And before you could say squeak, a mouse appeared. And then Mr. Funny, and you probably know, great big elephants are frightened of teeny tiny mice. The elephant trumpeted in fear and jumped on top of the piano, which broke under the elephant's weight. Mr. Funny laughed with delight. "Now that was funny," chuckled Mr. Funny. "Not really," said the genie, who looked just as unhappy as before. "You are a gloomy fellow," said Mr. Funny. "You would be too," said Ginny, "if you had to live in that lamp." "It must be a tight squeeze," admitted Mr. Funny. "You can say that again," grumbled the genie. "There is no room even to cough living in a lamp." "I live in a teapot, a very comfortable teapot, mind you," said Mr. Funny, and then yet another thought struck him. "For my third wish, I wish your lamp was a house." And before you could say, "Bring me a builder," the genie's lamp had turned into a house. The genie smiled. Only a flicker of smile, but at least a smile. "That's more like it," said Mr. Funny. "Now how am I going to get an elephant back home? I know, I wish." "I am sorry," interrupted the genie. "You have used up your 3 wishes." So Mr. Funny and the elephant had to squeeze on to the magic carpet for their ride home. It was quite a sight. Rather funny, in fact. So funny, the genie roared with laughter. Yay! Finally, Mr. Funny made Genie laugh. Yoo-hoo! This was a fun story, right, my little readers? What do you think about the story? Do you also want to get a magic lamp someday or a magic carpet? What do you think about it? Do let me know. I'll be waiting for your emails until we meet next time. Bye-bye. Take care.